So, hello everybody, how are you doing? For those who are listening on the audio experience as well, hugely appreciate you. I keep seeing reviews coming through for the Acts on This TV audio experience on iTunes and Stitcher, which is effectively, guys, if you're watching this live now, what I do is I strip the audio from these Periscopes and from the video replay of the Periscope that's going to be online tomorrow. If you're not watching this live, you might be watching the video replay. But I strip the audio out and actually upload that to iTunes and Stitcher, and people can listen to that in the car or when they're walking the dog. Someone was out on a run on holiday today and they tweeted me that they were listening to it. So if you want to get the audio and you're like, you know what, I can't catch up on all the videos or I can't always be live, get to iTunes or Stitcher.com if you've got an Android device or something like that, and just search for Acts on This TV, all one word, and you'll find it there. You can subscribe for free. And I'm going to be going really hard on the podcast. I'm going to be putting some exclusive content out on there as well. Good evening, Alex. How are you doing, mate? That isn't going to be available like on the Acts on This TV website. Okay, I'm going to be putting some exclusive stuff out on there. One thing, let me just run an idea past you before we start tonight, guys, and I'm going to go and check the Facebook comments, see if people are actually joining us on Facebook. Let me know if this will be useful for you, right? I'm incredibly grateful, and like, you know, it's like really humbling, but I get quite a lot of emails from actors who are watching stuff like this, or they listen to the podcast or watch the video interviews that I do over on actsonthis.tv, and I'll get emails from people going, you know what, I watched that, or you spoke about that, and it really had an impact on me. I've implemented it into my life and I'm having more success. And I'll always reply to every email I get, obviously, and, you know, I'll send them a lovely email back and stuff. But I'm like, you know what? This stuff could inspire other people. And I don't know, I mean, do you think it'd be useful? What I would love to do is if people are sending me emails in future, write on it like, you have my permission to kind of share this. And what I'd quite like to do is just jump on Skype with you for like 10 minutes to kind of expand on the point that you were making in your email. And then, because other actors are going to relate more to that, because we're all on a journey in this career, you know, and in this industry. Some are further along than others. But we've all got so much in common, regardless of where you're at. Fraser's saying, do it. It would just be great, I think, to not always bring celebrities on. I bring a lot of super, super successful people onto the website. Jenna, good evening. And I think sometimes it's nice to hear from people who aren't super famous and super successful yet. Good idea. Sounds brilliant, but wouldn't that take up all your time with hundreds of emails? Well, no, funny. I would, just choose maybe one a week, and it's just a 10-minute Skype call to the actor who you know is going to be an unknown. You know, maybe just starting off in their career, or maybe a year down the line. Tony Ross is here. Didn't think you could make it tonight, Tony. Thank you for being here. And it's like a case study kind of thing. Someone just said, yeah, like case studies. It is really just to, you know, ultimately it's just a nice reminder, and somebody might have used the information that I've put out in an ingenious way that no one else has kind of thought of. And sometimes I get emails from people and I'm like, wow, I never even thought of that. What a great thing to do. And I will learn from a take. You know, I'll read this book to you tonight that we're going to look at tonight. I'll interpret it in a certain way. You'll interpret it in a different way, and you might go and act on that thing and have some results. And then you send me an email going, wow, I've just done this. And I'm like, oh my God, I would never have thought of doing that. I'm going to go and do that. So it's useful. We can all learn so much from each other. But if you have been impacted by anything that I put out recently, and you do want to jump on Skype and have a chat about it in the hope that we can inspire some other people, drop me an email, which is just ross@actsonthis.tv, and I'll keep them all in a folder. I might not be able to reply to you straight away, but I'll gradually go through them, and then we'll just bring some people on, particularly the core. We've got like a core of maybe 50, 75 people in the Facebook group who are constantly empowering other people and posting stuff and sharing their journey, and I just think it'd be nice to get some of those on and learn a little bit more about them, don't you? I think that'd be quite useful. So the hearts are coming through. I think people think that's a good idea. So yeah, I will keep you posted on that. So back to tonight. Thank you so much for being here. And it's the book club Wednesday night. So for those who are here for the first time on a Wednesday night, I do a book club 9 p.m. till about 10 p.m. We look at one book a month for 4 weeks, and we study. Ultimately, a book that's going to help us get further in our lives and acting careers faster. Or, you know what, even if you're not an actor, because this has nothing to do with acting we're looking at tonight, in this book, it's not written by an actor, it applies to everybody. It's going to help you, regardless of what you do, get further, faster in your life and career. And I want to recap, because this is the second week we're looking at this book. The book is called The Slight Edge by Jeff Olson. It's an awesome book. If you've not got it, this is the hardback version. Boom, proper hardback. It's only like a tenner. Incredible, though. It was recommended by a mentor of mine, a guy called Steve Bartlett, who's a 24-year-old CEO who owns a company worth about £15 million. if he recommends something, I generally go and look at it. I've been reading it, and it is a superb book. Okay, really, really good. It's turning simple disciplines into massive success and happiness. And I just want to do a little recap on what we learned last week. I'm going to throw up a couple of pages from the book to show you what we learned last week, and hopefully you guys will remember this. This was ultimately an introduction to what the slight edge is. Okay, now the slight edge ultimately is when we focus on things that we might deem insignificant, on a daily basis, but actually we don't realize that they really compound and add up in the long run. And what you'll see here is this little oscillation you'll see on your screen here. You will see that by, consistently making good decisions, no matter how small, it takes us from failure, which is where a lot of people end up in their life, where they feel like, oh my God, I've had enough is enough, I've got to do something drastic to get out of this situation. And they start taking massive action on their hopes and dreams. And they start taking consistent action. And that consistent action and good decisions gets them into the survival zone, effectively, where they're like, you know what? I'm actually doing all right now. I can survive. I'm not under that pressure that I was under when I was in failure mode. But unfortunately, what they then start doing is they then stop. They then stop doing those things that took them from failure to survival. And then they start falling back down into the failure zone. And everyone on the book club last week was like, you know what, I've been here so many times. I don't understand. Like, I look back 3 years ago and I was having more success than I was having 2 years ago. And then maybe last year I was having more success than I'm having this year. And they go in these ups and downs, this little roller coaster. And what Jeff says in the book ultimately is the same activities that take us from failure to survival would also take us from survival to success if we just keep doing them. But so many people just stop doing them. And if you keep doing them, it looks like this next slide. You can see on that second oscillation there, the arrow continues to go up. So I'm sorry for those on the audio experience, you can't see this, but if you want to watch the replay of the video, go to actonthis.tv and just check out the Periscope section, and you will see the replay of this. But ultimately, if you kept doing the same things that took you from failure to survival, you would get to success. Fraser said he's got to go, but keep pressing on. Good to see you, Fraser. Catch up on the replay, buddy, but thanks for being here tonight. So that was the first point that we looked at last week, okay? What takes you from failure to survival, if you kept doing it, would take you from survival to success, but people get complacent and they stop. So ultimately what that means is you already know how to do everything it would take to make you an outrageous success. All you have to do is keep doing the things that have gotten you this far, okay? And we also looked at other takeaways in the chapter we looked at last week, was ultimately you have complete control over the direction that the rest of your life takes. And it's quite relevant last week because we had a UK election here that everyone was getting so het up about. And they're like, if the Tories get in, I might as well just quit my life. Oh, if Labour get in, I'm going to lose loads of money. All these like opposing views on which party was going to get in and why it would ruin everybody's life. And ultimately, I was like, guys, it doesn't matter who gets in. You have complete control over the direction of the rest of your life. Stop giving your power away to these parties who ultimately are never going to get you an acting job, are never really going to massively affect your acting career directly. It's down to you and how you respond to the situations that life puts you in. And we also had a look in this chapter at Jeff's life, and Jeff has he's had massive success, but he's also had it like literally stripped away from him overnight, and he went to complete failure again. And he managed to build that success up again via using this principle of the slight edge. And he called himself two characters in the book. His old self was called Gorgeous George, who was this kind of beach bum who lived on a beach. That was what he did, and he ended up cutting grass on a golf course. And then there was Jeff, who we know today, who is successful. And he says, look, there's a beach bum and a millionaire inside each one of us. And what makes the difference in how things turn out is you. You make that difference in how things turn out. So that's what we looked at in week one. Now tonight we're going to look at the precursor for you actually being able to have the slight edge and execute the slight edge in your life. Okay, if you don't have what we're going to talk about tonight, you will never ultimately be able to kind of capitalize on the slight edge. Okay, because the slight edge is all about taking action, no matter how small, no matter how insignificant it seems, but it's about taking consistent quality action, making consistently good decisions, which will compound over time. But you're not going to be able to make consistently good decisions unless you implement what we're going to talk about tonight. So I'm going to come back on camera, and it's so hot tonight, isn't it? I'm burning up already. And I'm going to read you the edited highlights of the next chapter, and it's called The First Ingredient. So you literally have to have this in your life in order to be able to use the slight edge. So is everybody kind of with me? Do you understand where we're up to right now? Give me some hearts on Periscope if you understand and you kind of get it, because I know it might be complex if you're just watching for the first time, but the whole principle so far is ultimately you make consistently good decisions. That's going to continue to compound and help you expedite your success. A lot of people do that for a while, get to a point where they're comfortable and they're surviving, and then they stop, and that's why they don't reach ultimate success. They kind of, for me, it's like people always dabble in success. They're not committing to it. So Fanny's saying, hell yeah, let's go. Steve just said, let's go, I think, something like that. I can't miss that comment, Steve, but it looks like people are on the same page. So I'm going to read you parts of chapter 2 now. The first bit I'm not going to read. I'm going to paraphrase. So basically, it talks about when Jeff lost it all. So Jeff built up a massive company and he lost it all, okay? And what he did is he was like, I've got to survive. I've got to start making some good decisions. I've got to kind of get back on my feet. And he went to work in sales. And he hated sales, okay? However, ironically, working in sales and being trained in sales and having all that kind of coaching around him on how to sell stuff and, like, you know, how to influence people taught him a lot of great behavioral traits of people, how people react to situations, how you can influence them, how you can sell to them, but also ultimately helps him develop as a person as well. And from that training, he went, you know what, I'm going to start setting up a couple of my own businesses on the side again now, because I want to start doing that and getting my myself back together. So he moved away from sales and he started to set up a couple of successful businesses. And he says he went on to build a couple of successful businesses, one of which appointed him as CEO. So he's CEO of his own company, based on that experience that he'd learned in sales at the other place he worked at. He said, and then he started a personal training company, a personal development training company called the People's Network, or TPN. And he said he'd learned so much from the stuff that he was learning, you know, in sales and from doing the personal development training, because he was in contact with some really big thought leaders in personal development, that he says the teachings were life-altering. He says, yeah, I was seeing all these people eagerly taking it all in. So the people were consuming all this personal development stuff, but they weren't really getting much benefit from it. And that might be a lot of people on here tonight, because what we're doing tonight is ultimately personal development. But a lot of people get addicted to actually learning, and they never get around to using the slight edge on the stuff they've learned. So actually consistently implementing the things that they have learned. Anybody done that? Anybody ever found themselves in a cycle of collecting courses, collecting programs, collecting workshops with casting directors, collecting this, that, and the other, audio books, all these trainings, and then ultimately gone, shit, I'm not really kind of getting anywhere. I'm too busy with all this stuff. I'm not implementing it. It makes me feel good when I'm doing it, a bit like buying a gym membership but never going to the gym. And it's because, people are not taking action on the stuff that they're learning. So that's what we're now going to read about in the book. So he says, in the course of that experience, I came to a sobering realization. Everything these great teachers were talking about worked. Ultimately, it worked, okay? But it wasn't working for some people. People would try to follow it, but when the quantum leap they were looking for didn't happen in the first 30, 60, or 90 days, they would quit. That's what a lot of people do when they don't have success in the acting industry. They just give up. No matter how much information there is, and no matter how good that information is, if the person consuming it doesn't have the right catalyst, the catalyst that will allow them to apply the information effectively, then success will elude their grasp. It's like eating the best food in the world without the intestinal capacity to digest or absorb it. Which is a great little analogy, really, isn't it? It's kind of, you could eat the best stuff in the world, but if you're not actually absorbing the nutrients from it, your body isn't, then you're just getting nothing from it at all. And personal development can be a lot like that. It may be fantastic, incredibly accurate information with amazing insights and a track record of proven success, but it just goes right through you, leaving you as weak and as hungry as you were before you ate it. I saw it happen hundreds, thousands of times, he says. It wasn't for lack of trying, and it wasn't for want of desire. If you've ever been told you'll get it if you just want it bad enough, I'm here to tell you, I'm here to let you off the hook, he says. It simply isn't true. Just wanting something doesn't necessarily get it for you, not even when you combine wanting with trying really hard and working really hard. You can want all you want and try yourself till you're blue in the face, but it still won't happen, not without the first ingredient. So now I'm going to tell you about what the first ingredient is, and when you've got this, you can start using the slight edge in your life, okay? And he says, why diets don't work. Over the past few decades, I've worked with thousands of people from every imaginable background and walk of life, from doctors and lawyers to bus drivers and manual labourers. they all have had the exact same opportunity in life. Some of these people have become millionaires, and many more have gone on to earn a good, solid living. But the majority of them, faced with exactly the same opportunities, have gone nowhere. Why? Well, it's not a matter of luck. It's not a matter of timing or fate. It's not a matter of intelligence, skill, or talent either. During the same years, I've gone to the very top with a range of different companies and different product lines, which I knew next to nothing about when I started, and in different countries and different languages, which I didn't speak and still don't. And you already know it wasn't my natural gift for sales, which I don't have. So he had that opportunity and still killed it effectively. A lot of his mates had the same opportunity, did nothing with it. And I've had that in my life where I know people with far less who have achieved far more in far less time than people who were born with a load of opportunity and a load of money. And if anything, more opportunity than the people who actually capitalized on what opportunity they had and went on to make something themselves. And he says, the truth is, there's been nothing brilliant about anything I've done. Quite the opposite, in fact. In every case, I've done the exact same thing every time, using ridiculously simple strategies made up of ridiculously simple lists of ridiculously simple actions. The strategies I used, none of them invented or devised by me, by the way, are so simple that if you and I sat down together in a room for 20 minutes, I could show you exactly what I did to create 4 different separate multi-million-dollar organizations and teach you how to do the exact same thing in 20 minutes. I'd like him to teach me. That'd be pretty sweet. He says, and the chances are it wouldn't work for you. So we're going to find out why it wouldn't work for you. He says, why not? Because how to do it is not the issue. Because if we don't fundamentally change the way you think, then you'll have rearranged what I said by the time you leave the room. You'll have reinvented it by the time you go to bed that night, and in the morning you won't even recognize it as the same information. It's the same reason diets don't work, the same reason gym memberships don't magically make you more fit, because a diet without the slight edge, a gym membership without the slight edge, a solid and intelligently designed business plan without the slight edge is like a plant without water. Dum, dum, dum. He says, if how to do it were the answer, it'd be done. It's how you do it, the hows, that's the most important. If access to the right information were the answer, we'd all be rich, healthy, happy, and fulfilled. And most of us are none of those things. Why not? Because the only answer, it isn't actually doing the thing. It isn't applying the answer, living the answer. It's only information. It's not that how-to books are valuable. They are. It's not that they're not valuable. They are. There's some wonderful ones that I'll even recommend to you at the end of this book. It's just that another how-to book is not what you need. It's not what any of us need. We already have enough of those, maybe more than enough. Because what you need to transform your life is not more information. Besides, we're also different. And my how-to may not work for me. It may work for me, but may not be the how-to that works for you. As much as we'd all love to quantify a precise, specific, paint-by-the-numbers approach to life, love and happiness, we're out of luck in that department because there's no universal one-size-fits-all method to anything. However, there is a secret ingredient. So ultimately, yeah, it's not the hows, guys, like how to do it. It's actually how you are doing it and how you are implementing it. So I can give you loads of information, how you can have success in the acting industry, what you can kind of do. And you can know it all intellectually, like having your gym membership. But if you ain't going to the gym and implementing that information how you do it, it's just going to have absolutely zero impact on your life and career. So you can know all of the stuff till you're blue in the face. But unless you're implementing it, you're getting nowhere. And that's generally because people have a missing ingredient. And we're now finally going to find out what the missing ingredient is. He says it's time to pull away the curtain and share the secret. So Alex said drum roll before. This is the drum roll moment, Alex. He says, ready, here it comes. This is it. The secret ingredient, and this is critical, is your philosophy. Okay, and we're going to figure out what that is. It's not about Greek philosophy or anything like that, okay? He says, now before you react, I'm not talking about some esoteric intellectual thing here. Not some complex, elaborate, or heady system of ideas. No long lists or bullet points you have to remember with clever acronyms you have to memorize. And I'm definitely not talking about some kind of self-hypnosis or about conjuring up the impossible out of thin air through some mystical power of attraction or anything, hocus pocus like that. And most important of all, what I'm talking about is not hard to do. By your philosophy, all I mean is changing the way you think about simple, everyday things. Once you do, then you will take the steps you need to take to lead you to the how-tos you need. Let me put it this way. If you don't change how you think about these simple everyday things, then no amount of how-tos will ever get you anywhere or give you any true solutions. Because it's not the hows that do it. It's how you do the hows. The reason diets and self-help courses and weight loss programs and other how-tos don't work for most people is the same reason most how-to books and courses don't work for most people. It isn't that the actions are wrong. It's that people don't keep doing them. Focusing on the actions, the what-to-dos, and the how-to-do-its is not enough, because it's the attitude behind the actions that keep those actions in place. I'm going to put something up in the screen in a minute that's going to explain this more simply to you. He says, so all you need is an attitude adjustment then? He's like, unfortunately, no, it's not that simple. Here's the problem. You can adjust your attitude by getting inspired, by listening to a great speaker, by reading an inspiring story, or by your best friend giving you a pep talk. And by giving yourself a pep talk even. Any of those things can get you moving in the right direction, and that's so far so good. He says the problem is it won't last. Remember that roller coaster diagram? That's what I just put up on the screen there. You may get, I'll put it up again, you may get inspired by the uplifting story of an inspirational pep talk, but you can't freeze that feeling or glue the emotions of the moment into place. Emotions can change like the wind, and you can't stop them. No one can. They keep moving, and that's why they're called emotions and not standing stills. Okay. You can't dictate how you feel, no matter how much you may tell yourself to feel positive about this how-to step or that how-to step. What if you just don't today? Okay, today you're excited maybe about getting fit. You feel like doing your 20 minutes on the treadmill, great. But what if tomorrow you just don't feel like doing it? To find the path to success, you have to back up one more step. And it's the understanding behind the attitudes that are helpful. Understanding behind the attitudes that are helpful and are behind the actions you take. It's the philosophy, okay? That's the missing ingredient. The secret ingredient, the first ingredient, is your philosophy. Yes, you have to know the winning how-to actions, and you have to possess the winning attitudes, but what generates all that and keeps it all in place is your philosophy. Your philosophy is what you know, how you hold it, and how it affects what you do. How you think about simple, everyday things. That's what this book is about. And I'm going to put up everything we've read. If you lost track, it's about this, guys. All right? This. So your philosophy in life, basically, and we're going to look at what some philosophies are and, what yours might be. But your philosophy creates your attitude, your actions, and thus your results. And your results ultimately create your life. So it's not about how much information you know about how to do something, and collecting courses on how to do this, how to get fit, how to be this, how to be that. If your philosophy isn't right, then it's not going to create the right attitude towards those how-tos. And if your attitude towards those how-tos is negative and wrong, then your actions are going to be negative and wrong, or you're not going to take any action, which means your results are going to be shit, or very below par, to be polite. And then that creates your life, which will be shit, or very below par, to be polite. So take a screenshot of that if you're on your phone now, just so you've got it. And if people are watching on the listening on the audio experience, get over to actsonthis.tv and just watch the replay of this, the video. But it makes a lot of sense. Your philosophy, which we're going to look at in a minute, of what your philosophy might be, and I'm going to share with you what my philosophy of life is, creates your attitude, which creates your actions, which dictates your results. And all of those things creates your life, okay? I'm just going to bob onto Facebook, make sure that we're still going strong on Facebook. I can see people still watching on Periscope. That's all good. I'm just going to nip over to the Facebook page whilst people take a screenshot of that, if that's what you're doing. But do people get that? Give me some comments if that kind of makes sense, because I know when I'm reading the book intellectually, it's quite wordy. It's quite a lot of things to take in there. But ultimately, yeah, your philosophy creates your attitude, your actions, which creates your results, and then that creates your life. Okay? So I'm going to now have a look at the next section of this. I'm just going to turn pages, because I'm not reading everything in this chapter. It's a pretty long chapter. But I'm going to read you some highlights now. Let me jump back on camera. So he says, a positive philosophy makes perfect sense, says Jen, turns into a positive attitude. I believe it all comes out of attitude, in all fairness, says Steve. Well, there you go. Which turns into positive actions, which turns into positive results, which turns into a positive lifestyle, a positive life. And a negative philosophy turns into a negative attitude, which turns into negative actions, which turns into negative results, which turns into a negative lifestyle. He says, and you don't have to go to graduate school or learn Greek or read think books with extremely long paragraphs by 19th century German authors to change your philosophy, okay? A life philosophy is something so simple, so basic, a 6-year-old can understand it. Here's an example of a life philosophy. It comes from Ralph Waldo Emerson in his essay on compensation. And he says, do the thing and you shall have the power. Do the thing and you shall have the power. So many people just don't do the thing they need to do. Thus, they just have no power. You might have been, thinking of doing something today, bottled out, fear got in the way, you shit yourself, you're like, I can't do that, I can't send that email, I can't send that tweet, I can't ask this thing, I can't ask that thing. So you didn't do it, so you don't have the power. It says, profoundly simple and just as powerful. The sort of wisdom you can actually apply in everyday life. And Nike said pretty much the same thing, only with fewer words. Just do it. Okay, but he says he likes Emerson's version better. And we'll be using that again later on when we're applying the slight edge in your life. He says there are 2 prevalent types of attitudes. There's the entitled attitudes and there's value-driven attitudes. And this is really crucial, okay? A value-driven attitude says, what can I do to help you? An entitled attitude says, what have you done for me lately? An entitled attitude says, pay me more and then maybe I'll work harder. A value-driven attitude says, I'll work harder and then I'll expect you'll pay me more. Which of these attitudes is driven by Emerson's philosophy, do you think? Do the thing and you'll have the power. It's value-driven. Do the thing first and you have the power, okay? So it says your philosophy is what you know, how you hold what you know, and how it affects what you do. You can look at anyone's actions and trace back through the attitudes behind those actions to their source, the philosophy behind the attitudes. Show me what a man does, and I'll show you his philosophy. Here's another example of a life philosophy. This one is from Thomas J. Watson, the founder of IBM. He says the formula for success is quite simple. Double your rate of failure. Double your rate of failure. And we've spoken about this on quite a few Periscopes in the past where people are now being targeted on failure as opposed to success. So in sales, people are being targeted to get 30 no's in a day rather than 10 sales because managers know that if their staff aim for 30 no's, they're going to get more than 10 yeses along the way. You could look at that with acting in terms of sending letters out to casting directors, etc., etc. You want to look for 30 rejection letters when you're sending out to agents. You're probably going to get, more than one meeting than if you were just looking for, 2 or 3 meetings. And you're like, I've had 2 or 3 meetings, that's it. If you were looking for 10 no's or more, then you're probably going to get more yeses along the way, more opportunity to meet, more varied people or a greater number of agents. It says, these days we're not often taught that the key to success is to double our rate of failure. On the contrary, we're taught to avoid failure like the plague. And you've probably heard the expression, failure is not an option. Oh, really? Well, here's a reality check. Failure had better be an option. Failure had better be an option because whether or not you consider it an option, it's going to happen. If you go through life with the philosophy that failure is not an option, then you'll never have any good opportunities to learn. I think his wise words. He then goes on to talk about why lottery winners still lose. And a lottery winner can still win a load of money. But then how many lottery winners have you heard of that have then lost it all? Or how many really famous actors or famous musicians have gone on to lose it all? They have huge fortunes that they've gone on to just lose everything on. It happens quite a lot, quite regularly. And that's because although their situation financially has changed, their philosophy towards life has never changed. Steve says Bruce Jones is a big example. Yeah, Bruce Jones used to star in Coronation Street. Man, guy went majorly off the rails. Lost it all. Lost literally everything. Because you spend to your means, don't you, says Fanny. I think it's because people's philosophies just don't change. So if they're frivolous with their cash when they have none, they're still going to be frivolous with it when they've got loads. And then they turn around and go, oh my goodness, I didn't see that coming, even though it was so obvious to everybody on the outside. So that's the next part of the book that we don't need to read. I want to share with you my philosophy, and then the closing elements of the chapter. So share with me some of yours in a second. So mine, I'm going to pull it up on the screen. This is kind of a philosophy I adopted from another thought leader that I spoke to years ago, and I've been kind of living by every day of my life. I hope it kind of shows in the work that I do and Acts on This and doing these Periscopes and the Bulletproof Actor program I'm bringing out later this month for the third time. Bulletproofactor.com, go check it out. And ultimately, it's this, guys. You will get everything you want out of your life and more by helping everyone else get what they want out of their lives. And since I adopted that philosophy, it's massively impacted my attitude towards everything that I do. And my attitude is so value-driven. It's like, I will just give. And ultimately, you know, if there comes a point where I have to ask for something, people will be way more likely to give it. But 9 times out of 10, I don't have to ask anymore. Opportunity and just good people kind of just, you know, come into my life. And it's because of the philosophy that I have behind everything, and it allows me to apply the slight edge in a really positive way. So the decisions that I make every single day, no matter how small, are always dictated to by this philosophy of going, is this actually going to help other people get more out of what they want of life? Because if it is, it's the right thing to do, and doing the right thing is always the right thing. And by doing that, I'm going to get what I want out of my life and way more, because I'm giving value to other people. And something magical happens, seriously, when you live by this kind of philosophy. Anyone else got any philosophies they want to share? What do you live by? Any kind of like mantras that you have, or, you know, things that maybe your granddad said to you one day 20 years ago and has never left you to this day? You know, it's interesting to hear, you know, how other people's philosophies have come about. You get out what you put in, says Steve. Absolutely, that's a great one. I live by the sword, Fanny says. Live by the sword, die by the sword. Anyone else got any philosophies they want to share? I just think it's really interesting, because if you have a look at your philosophy now, or maybe, you know, how you are living your life and what that philosophy behind it might be, even if you didn't realize you had one until now, it's really going to give you insight on your attitude towards life, whether it's positive, whether it's negative, and how that might be impacting the success that you're having right now. So I'll jump back on camera. Hallelujah anyway, says Jen. Hallelujah. Let's have a look. So to close up, he says, diets do work. Gym memberships do pay off. Solid business plans can make you a wealthy person. There's a great deal of personal development material out there that will make you a happier, more productive, more successful, more fulfilled person. And I hope this is as well. My philosophy sucks in many areas and is amazing in others, methinks. We just start tweaking it, Fanny, so it's all amazing. Always have a bacon butty. That's Steve's also his philosophy he was on about the other night. But yeah, so, you know, ultimately the stuff that we learn on these scopes, everything that I do, the Bulletproof Actor program that I run with actors, you know, it works, absolutely works, and you'll see that in the testimonials that that I'll be putting out over the next couple of weeks from people who've already gone through the program. But ultimately, it will never work for those who don't implement it. You know, who don't continue with it. Maybe they'll have success for the first 6 months after they've done it, and then they forget some of the things that are in it, and they stop doing it. They stop using the slight edge. So he says it will all work, but the slight edge is not just more good information. It's not another self-help success book packed with some revolutionary new best way of doing things. You don't need that. No one needs that. All the new and better information is available already. It's been there for years. This book isn't more information. It's the catalyst that will help you put that good information to use. It's the missing ingredient you need for all the personal development books, how-tos, and life guides to work. Okay? You just need to begin ultimately implementing it. And he says, whatever your deepest desires are in life, I want you to have them, and I know you can. That is my passionate belief. And I've seen it happen too many times to doubt it, but you need a place to start. The slight edge is that starting point. It's the first ingredient. And that's where that chapter ends. But ultimately, yeah, I mean, to sum this up, I'm going to put up a page on the screen now, because I know this is quite a convoluted chapter, I guess. But ultimately, no matter how good the information is, it won't do you any good unless you have the right catalyst that will let you apply it effectively. And that catalyst is your philosophy. That's the catalyst for everything in your life that you need to understand. It starts with that. The slight edge can't exist without your philosophy being right. Your philosophy creates your attitudes, which creates your actions, which create your results, which create your life. Successful people fail their way to the top. So do the thing and you shall have the power, okay? And the slight edge is the first ingredient, the catalyst you need that makes all of the how-tos work. So get your philosophy right. Ultimately, that gives you access to the slight edge because you're going to use that. And then that's going to make the how-to, so the information you are learning, it's going to make you act on those how-tos and actually start implementing that information. Fanny says, loves it, fail all the way to the top. It's just so true. That whole thing of failure is not an option, I think he's dead right on that. The amount of times I have failed on stuff, but I always say, part of Bulletproof Actor, part of the declaration you sign when you sign up to the course is that there are no real failures. Anytime you do have a negative outcome, you're learning, and therefore, every time that happens, you actually are succeeding. There are, ultimately no such thing as failures. If you are learning, you are succeeding. I really need this right now, says Bobby. Boom, there you go. I'm a master at failing, says Caroline. Well, there you go. Well, you're going to start succeeding when you can implement this. But I think it's really kind of simple when you break it down, but it's really powerful. Ultimately, without the right philosophy, you ain't going to be able to adapt your attitude properly. There's no such thing as failures, only lessons, says Alex. No, it's dead true. Really, really, really true. I just completely buy into that. So I hope that kind of makes sense to people. It's pretty quick. What was that? 40 minutes. Pretty quick chapter that. We'll do some Q&A though now, and I'll stay on for a little bit if people want to ask stuff. I can see my Periscope's being a little bit funny. My Facebook looks pretty stable connection-wise, but my Periscope's jumping a little bit. Is it all right, picture-wise, or sound should all be all right? But Periscope servers have been a little bit dodgy over the last couple of Periscopes, but hopefully it's people can still see hear and see okay. Those who are watching on the replay, it'll be perfect for you because I record it locally as well. Bit jumpy, but all good at the moment. Jumping a bit, says Lucy. Yeah, apologies for that. There's something obviously going on at Periscope's end, but sound is fine, says Alex. So that's all you need. You only need the sound, ultimately. But anybody got any questions on that or how you're going to use that? You look like a bad sync job, but we're coping. So it looks like it's not syncing properly. But it's all right. It'll be fine. Jen, it'll be fine on the replay if anyone wants to catch up. And Bobby just thought it was his crappy Irish broadband. No, I don't think it is, Bobby. I think it is Periscope servers. It seemed fine at the beginning, but for some reason, I think when you're doing a prolonged scope for more than like 15 minutes, goes a little bit downhill. Those on Facebook have got no lag, no jumping around on there. It looks perfectly crystal clear and smooth. So apologies for that. So you Facebook kids got it easy tonight. I'm just going to jump into the Facebook group and see what's going on, if anybody's actually got any comments on there. So how are people implementing the slight edge in their life? What are you doing this week that you could actually go, you know what, the small decisions are going to be what's important? Caroline's connection has been perfect this evening. Awesome, Caroline. Let me know, how you're using this. You're using it in your acting career. How can you help? How can you help keep your philosophy constant and unwavering? For me, it's down to a few things. Willpower has got to be there, and a lot of people waste. So this is really important, actually. Willpower is like a really finite thing. We don't have a lot of willpower in our lives on a daily basis. If you imagine your willpower as like maybe just a pill that you take, and you can only take it once a day. You've got like a real finite amount of it. Or a drink, like one glass of willpower a day. That's it. A lot of people use their willpower to resist shit. They actually, actively resist stuff, and their willpower gets wasted by not doing things, by going, oh, I really don't want to do that, and then they don't have any for the things that they do want to do. Most people waste their willpower resisting stuff. So for me, it's going, you know what, I want to do this thing, but I'm a bit worried about it. Does it align with my philosophy and, you know, and ultimately my standards in life? Is this the right thing to do? Because doing the right thing is always the right thing. And if it is, and if it feels uncomfortable and it feels a little bit scary, then it's absolutely the right thing to do. Because we looked at a book last month called Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway by Susan Jeffers. And you can use fear as a compass, effectively, to go, you know what, if as long as I am constantly growing and getting better and improving myself, I'm never ever going to get rid of fear. The day you stop feeling fear is the day you kind of stop evolving, and the day you stop getting better at stuff, because you're not putting yourself into situations where you can grow effectively. Because if there's nothing that you're afraid of in terms of that, you know, on a daily basis what you're doing, then you're probably not stretching yourself far enough. So you've got to use that as a positive, and don't use all your willpower up resisting it. Use your willpower to go, right, I know this is the right thing, thus I must do it. It aligns with my philosophy. It's, you know, although it feels scary, I know I'm going to learn from it regardless of whether I succeed or fail. Let's do it, because you will talk yourself out of stuff, unfortunately, if you allow fear to take over. So the whole book, Feel Your Fear and Do It Anyway, Feel the Fear and Do It Anyway, is you know, great book for, you know, if people haven't read that, go and watch the Periscopes that I did on it last month over on actsonthis.tv, and I think you'll get a lot from it. But ultimately, yeah, your philosophy is kind of like, it's almost, you know what, for me, it's like, I'm not religious at all, but it's like religion. Some of the things in my life are absolutely like religion. My standards are so high on them, it's completely unwavering in terms of, you know, the thing that I put up before about you know, you will get everything you want out of life by helping other people get what they want out of theirs. I mean, that's so deeply ingrained in me that it's like religion. Literally, it's like, you know, it's completely unwavering, and it's because I just buy into it in a big way, because I know it's the right thing. I know it's the right thing to do. So I think when you've got the right philosophy for you, it will be unwavering, because it'll just feel right, and you'll feel uncomfortable when you actually back away from it. It's why I think you are spiritual, says Caroline. Yeah, definitely spiritual. I'm not religious. I'm definitely spiritual, though, hugely so. But yeah, it just feels kind of right, and then it's almost like, it feels like almost like immoral if I'm not living like that. It's why I won't. I got a private message on Facebook the other day, and it just made my skin crawl. It was from another actress. Shouldn't have even said that, really, because that kind of narrows it down to a female. But it was from somebody, a Facebook message, and they run a very large Facebook group for actors. And the entire time of me running actsonthis.tv, they've been so unsupportive of everything that I did. They wouldn't allow me to post about any podcasts I produced or webinars that I was running, even though when they were free, and I was asking no one for money for them. And I stopped 2 years ago or so, after like posting 2 or 3 times in that group. I just stopped posting in the group, full stop, and I will never post again. I think it's one of the most negative groups I've ever come across in my life. Now, the owner or runner of that group or whatever crawled out of the woodwork the other day, because they look like they're setting up some kind of website. Now, it's not just going to be a Facebook group. And I got a Facebook message that said, I'll read it here, I've probably got it on here. Or have I deleted it? It's in my message request, because I've not even accepted it to come through. And it said something I just wholeheartedly disagree with. This is what pisses me off so much. Hi, Ross. Have a money-making proposition referral for you, but not sure if you will see this. Because it's obviously not, you know, I'm not friends with that person on Facebook, and it's gone into my sort of request thing on Facebook. And it just felt so wrong. I mean, I've not even replied to it, because I'm like, wow, okay, so you've got a money-making scheme, have you? Well, that's just bullshit. Where, you know, that does not align with my philosophy in terms of, you know, helping other people get what they want out of their lives. For me, like I say, it's all value, value, value. Anyone who does my Bulletproof Actor program, oh my God, I give more of myself than anybody would ever expect to that program for those people who invest in it. And yes, people pay for it, but the value they get from it is incredible. And you get a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you go through the whole program and you're like, Ross, I didn't get anything from this, literally no arguments, one email, you will get your money back, every single penny, because I'm not into money-making schemes. I'm into giving so much value and helping people get what they want out of their lives that they're like, so grateful to have spent money on that thing and invested in themselves, and that message just came through anyway. That does not align with my philosophy. If I was to act on that, it would not align with my attitude. My actions would be so incongruent with actually what I believe in. It's certainly not doing the right thing, and it will only lead to bad shit. It will only lead to negativity. It will never lead to anything good. When money is your sole motivator in any business venture, in any acting gig, in any play you want to put on or film you want to create, it will never lead to anything that's of value for anybody. And you will fail. You will fail quickly as well. When money is the prime motivator in anything, you will fail quite quickly. But it's she sounds a sort, says Caroline. I just couldn't believe it because I'm like, wow, you haven't supported anything I have done over the last 6 years of me creating this site. Now you've seen me create something pretty big, and I've got like literally the biggest people in the UK acting industry taking part in features with me. Now you want to be a part of it and you want me to help promote your shit? No way. Absolutely not a cat in hell's chance. And I will call everybody out on their bullshit in this industry. I don't care who they are. I will call them out on it. And I have done before. There's also another person in the acting industry who I know is going to monetize something that's coming up as well, which I think is just, it doesn't sit right with me again. I'm not saying monetizing stuff is wrong at all, because when you're a business, you've got to. Obviously, there's a premium membership side of Act on this. It funds a lot of great charities, but obviously it funds the site as well. It helps me run it. I can't pay. The site costs around about £15,000 a year to run in terms of software and maintenance and the server and all that kind of stuff. That's before I've earned a single penny out of it. So obviously I have to charge something for it. But I just try and give so much more value above and beyond that cash price. Whereas a lot of other people in this industry, I think, have just seen pound signs in their eyes when they've got a social media following, or suddenly they've come across something that was a real force for good, that people bought into, and they're like, oh, how can I actually capitalize on this and get money out of people? And they're just doing it the wrong way, I think. It sounds like jealousy to me, says Caroline. Yeah, I don't know, but it was just like, they wouldn't let me post anything at all. And then the minute they're like, oh, okay, this is actually doing very well now, and we think we can actually make some money out of it. I've got a money-making scheme for you. Well, go and do that on your own, because I'm just not interested. That's sadly the way the world is now, Alex. The good thing is, though, I don't think it always is, Alex. I think there's so many good people as well in this industry. There's a couple of bad eggs, but I think there's a lot of people who have such a passion for acting, the industry itself. There are some really, really great people out there, running workshops and casting sites and all kinds of stuff. How do you find your own philosophy? Says Chloe. Chloe, I think it's like what resonates with you in terms of your standards and like what morally, what sits right with you ultimately. Look at like some of the actions that you take. I guess if you want to reverse engineer it, your actions on a daily basis will be subconsciously dictated to by your philosophy, how you see the world, how you treat other people, which is very often how you want to be treated yourself. So if you look at the actions you're taking on a daily basis, you can probably go, oh, okay, well, if I'm doing these things that are really nice and adding value to people's lives, and I'm charitable, and I'm just putting good out there consistently on a daily basis, then your philosophy is going to be intrinsically good. You still need to figure out, what that is for you, whether it's like, as we said, just do it, Nike's philosophy. Find your moral swagger, says Caroline. That's a good way to put it. It is. I think some of it does come down to morals, and some of it just comes down to personality, I think, to be honest, how life has shaped you. And you can, and regardless of what negative things have happened to you in your life, when you look at those things for what you got from them as opposed to what they robbed you of, you can use those to empower you. A big part of Bulletproof Actor is all about that. I say to everybody, look, life happens to you. Life happens for you, not to you. And when you start looking at life like that, you start seeing things in a very, very different way. How you don't keep looking at life as a victim. Oh, well, that happened to me. I'm so downtrodden. I'm so this. I'm so that. You go, actually, what good is there in the situation that I can't see right now? And you look for that, and you realize that life very much happens for you, and throws so many opportunities at you very regularly to become a better person, to become stronger, to become, more rounded, and ultimately to be able to have more impact in the world. Because when you've been through something bad, if you ever lost a parent or something like that, I know not many of my friends have lost parents yet. I was kind of like one of the first out of my group of mates. And it was horrific, really, because I didn't have anyone to kind of talk to about it. I went to people who are a lot older than me, and they spoke to me about it, and it really helped. But I know now, through that negative situation, when the day comes where, my close friends lose parents, I'll be like so there for them, and like I will just get it so much more than I could do if I wasn't in that situation. So there's good that comes out of every bad situation, and you've just got to look for it. Ultimately those things can empower you. But in terms of your philosophy, just look at how the actions you are taking on a daily basis. That'll show you what your philosophy is. The bad thing that happened to me got me into my acting career, said Alex. Well, there you go. It's funny, isn't it, how life works? It's interesting, and that's that's just what's so great about life. That's what I love about every kind of new day. Really, you just don't know what's going to happen, where it's going to take you, what chance meeting you might have tomorrow that could change your life. You go into Starbucks and meet your wife in the queue. You don't know, that might happen. With a solid moral philosophy, you can still fall at some hurdles which stop you taking action, though. So you still need. It's not all about morals at all. So it's your philosophy for me is by helping other people get what they want out of their life. I'm going to get what I want out of my life. So I still got to take action on that. I can't just sit back and go, oh well, if the opportunity comes up to help somebody, then I will do it. For me, it's proactively going out. I mean, the whole reason I'm on this scope right now, what is it? It's 5 to 10 at night. The old Ross 10 years ago, when he was 24, would have been sat probably in my front room now, watching a box set, watching a documentary, I don't know, watching something on TV that added zero value to my life, to be honest, purely entertainment value, and zero value to anyone else's life. So you've got to be like a massive action taker. Let me show you something that I showed you the other night on Periscope. I'll show it you again. It's a massive part of the Bulletproof Actor training, and kind of how this is the philosophy of Bulletproof Actor. Should have it somewhere. Which is this. You're not going to get everything from this. The Bulletproof Actor program is a 5-week, super intensive course, but this kind of will give you an overview. This is the philosophy of it all, the success cycle, and it starts with your belief in your own potential. This is the philosophy behind that, and if you believe you can do something, you take that action. So your potential here is like, maybe the belief in your philosophy that I can make a difference and help other people get what they want out of their lives. If I believe I can do that, I'm going to go and take the action to do it. And because I take massive action based on my belief in my philosophy, I get great results, which feeds back into my belief system. I go, see, Ross, I told you could do it, mate. You're making a big impact on people here. Keep going. I feel I've got more potential in my philosophy next time. I take bigger action. I get better results. I get a stronger belief system. Unfortunately, what happens to a lot of people, Julia, is they have no belief in themselves or their philosophy, or they don't know what their philosophy of life is, or how they should be acting, or showing up on a daily basis. Thus, they can't take any action, or believe that the action they take won't have an impact. The results they get are just poor. And then they say, oh, I told you I couldn't do it, which is step 4, and their belief becomes less. Therefore, they see themselves as having less potential for next time. They take less action, they get worse results, worse belief, less potential, less action, even worse results, worse belief, and they spiral right down. And they go, oh, I'm just unlucky. Life never works for me. And it's bullshit. It's absolutely bullshit. If you truly believe you've got something to offer, which every single human being on this scope and watching on the replay or listening on the podcast, you've all got so much potential. If you're alive right now and you're, pretty much, none of us are perfect. You're pretty much kind of able-bodied. I've got dodgy eye conditions. People on here are probably going to have dodgy physical conditions or dodgy hearing or, whatever it is. None of us are, like, amazingly perfect, are we? But unless you're, like, seriously, hugely, physically and mentally unwell, maybe you're bedridden or something like that, your potential is limitless. Your potential is so huge. I'm never going to be a racing driver, because I can't see well enough. But you know what? I can do pretty much anything else I want, to be honest. And then I take action based on that. And when I believe I can do it and I take massive action, I get results. and then I believe more next time, and then I get, a bigger belief in my potential. I take even bigger action. I get even better results. And this is what a lot of people don't understand. They just say, oh, that person there, they're always lucky. God, they always, come up smelling of roses, or they always land on their feet. It's not the case at all. These people are taking consistent action. They are using the slight edge on a daily basis, and they're getting good results because of that, which is feeding back in their belief systems. They're becoming stronger and stronger and more confident and more confident. And that's really, that's the philosophy of Bulletproof Actor. If you really want to go in depth on that, and it will change your life, go to bulletproofactor.com and register on the early bird list. I'm going to be opening that, guys, on the 29th of June. Super excited about having people come on that. You're going to be hearing a lot more about that over the next couple of weeks. I'm also going to be putting a free training course out as well, which is still 3 videos, 30 minutes each. Super value. That's value, man. I mean, that is literally, you can just go through the free stuff. It's going to change your life. It's going to absolutely change your life. Dawn there says, it sure will. Thank you, Dawn. Dawn's giving me a great testimonial that you're going to be seeing soon. But yeah, go through the free training. That's what I'm talking about, value. It's not me going, oh, I've got a money-making scheme. No, it's bullshit. I'm going to give people so much value that whether they go on to do the full course or not, I've really helped them achieve more out of their life. And that's my philosophy. It's what I'm about. So your actions just need to be aligned with your philosophy. And if you're still figuring out your philosophy, you can't do it on a Periscope right here, Julia. We can't do it in an hour. Maybe you've got to take yourself for a walk tomorrow, get out in nature, go for a walk on a field somewhere. Just have a think about your life, reflect a little bit. Go, actually, what would I want my philosophy to be? If I don't know what it is, I'm gonna manufacture it now authentically, because you can do that. It's not a God-given thing. They're like, Julia, this is your philosophy. Okay, I am giving it you. You can make it up. You can go, actually, you know what? This is how I'd like to live my life from now on. And any decisions that I have to make moving forward, I'm going to say, is this in alignment with my philosophy? And if it is, then I'm gonna commit to it, and I'm going to take action on it. And then I can use the slight edge every single day by taking action, no matter how small, every single day, that's going to compact over time and going to help me have big success. Mindful reflection and contemplation is the key to living well, says Fanny. I think it's really appropriate, definitely. It's powerful. Bro Laura is here. All right, Bro Laura. You've joined us at the end of the scope, unfortunately, but hopefully you can go back and watch the replay. I'm going to jump. You know what? I feel like, I'm so sorry, guys, on Facebook. I've neglected you all night. I'm just going to go over to Facebook and see if people are leaving any comments on there. I don't normally broadcast on Facebook, so probably no one's even watching it on there, but at least people will be able to catch you up on the replay. Let me see. John's here. Johnny John's here. Says, nice to see you again, Ross. Johnny John, thanks for being on. Oh no, there's like five people watching so far on Facebook right now, simultaneously. Let's see if there's any more comments on here. I think most people are watching on Periscope tonight. Yeah, see, the stream's perfect on Facebook, guys. Apologies for you guys on Periscope. The stream's absolutely perfect on Facebook. Maybe we should start doing these on Facebook. People can just watch on there. But I like Periscope because of the immediacy of the comments. I think that's really cool. So no, we will continue to broadcast on both platforms. But I hope it's been useful. It kind of sums up what I wanted to talk about tonight. But ultimately, yeah, just have a think about your philosophy and what your Laura says connection is good on Periscope. And whether your actions on a daily basis are congruent with your philosophy. And if they're not, tweak them. Just tweak them. Go, you know what? Actually, that decision I made yesterday wasn't the best decision to make. It didn't align with my philosophy. It'd be like me replying to that message and going, oh, yeah, what's the money-making scheme? I want to learn about that. No, I don't give a shit about that. I really don't care about that. I don't want to know about it. I'm not interested in money-making. I'm interested in giving value to other people. People have this thing, this customer value model. What can I get out of customers? It's bullshit. The customer value should be what you can give to customers. Then they're going to want to be part of what you're doing. Your philosophy about doing something for other people definitely makes the world a better place. It does, Alex, but I promise you, it's not altruistic. Don't get me mixed up with Ross is a saint. He's doing all this for others, because I get so much back. It's not altruism. It's not doing something because it's for the the greater good and I get nothing from it. I get so much from it. So much opportunity. People want to be around me. People want to hang out with me. The amount of invites for coffee I get, it's pretty incredible. I can't do them all. I just can't do them all. But it just attracts great people in your life who you can make connections with. So many people have come into my life that would seem kind of like serendipitously. It's not because of that. It's because I've been putting good out there, and good attracts good, like attracts like. Misery likes company, doesn't it? Misery loves misery. So you get 5 actors who are just like broken and like out of work, and they're pissed off and bitter, and they all get together, and they attract other people to that group. But then when you get 5 great, positive actors, inspired actors, motivated actors, then they attract other like-minded people, and then you just get way further. So it's not altruism. It's not being, oh, isn't Ross great? Give him a round of applause. He's so selfless. I'm not selfless at all. I love the sound of my own voice, right? So I love putting podcasts out. I love doing Periscopes, It's selfish. It's selfish. I've got you guys here. It's like, it's me being a little bit selfish going, right, come on. I'm going to try and help you. But I'm helping myself as well. I'm reading this book. So one of my goals in 2013-14 was to read. Steve says you're selfish shit. Thanks, Steve. My goal in 2014 was to read 20 books a year. And I was like, Ross, oh man, you're not like an avid reader as such. I listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I thought, well, one way for me to give people value, but also to get loads of value back, is to run a book club, because it's going to force me. I'm accountable to literally, you know what? If I go to Twitter now, there's probably over 200 people maybe who have watched this scope tonight. So let me have a look. Maybe it probably won't show me the numbers. It doesn't show me the numbers until it stops going live on Periscope. It'll show you the people watching it currently, but it won't show you people who have actually watched it for a little bit. But normally, if I look back on on previous ones, it's about, I think the last one we did on Monday is nearly 400 people. That holds me like really accountable. I'm like, shit, it's 400 people who are just going to give me stick. If they're like, Ross, where was the book club? I was waiting for that. So it's selfless and selfish at the same time. It's giving back, helping other people get what they want out of their life, but I'm getting what I want out of my life by doing that. I'm reading more books. I'm learning more stuff. I'm implementing this stuff I'm reading you. I've not read The Slight Edge in full before. I'm reading it a chapter a week with you guys. So I'm benefiting from that. It's I read Danny Dyer's book, says Steve. Does that count? Yeah, maybe you can learn something from Danny. But it is it's not altruism. It's like it's value, but I get so much back from it in return. I just love hanging out with you guys. We've created a community of it's growing so fast. The Facebook group is growing so quick. Nearly 6,000 people in that now. Facebook.com/groups/Act on This TV if you're not in it. If you're an actor, get in it. It's the most supportive, positive, inspirational group I've just ever seen. And I haven't created that. I absolutely, I made it possible. I curated it, I guess. I was the catalyst for it. But you guys have made it what it is. It's not the Ross show. I couldn't, got to be boring if it was only me posting there, wouldn't it? So yeah, it's we're creating something great, and I'm benefiting from it, and all the wisdom in that group just as much as you guys are as well. So thank you for being a part of it. But yeah, have a think about your philosophies then over the next couple of days. Tweet me, let me know if you figure it out what yours is. @RossAGrant is my personal Twitter handle. @ActOnThisTV is the site's Twitter handle. Instagram, I did loads of Instagram stories today, taking you around. I was doing a virtual reality voiceover today. It's really interesting. Virtual reality is going to become really big, guys, over the next 5 to 10 years. And consumer virtual reality is, it will start making headway in 5 years or so. And I was doing a thing for training doctors today, where I had to be a GP, and it'd already been shot with with these characters in a 360-degree environment. So someone puts a headset on, and GPs who want to train to be GPs. This was a hearing specialist, like an audiologist. And they put this virtual reality headset on, and then they go in and know what it's like to be a patient in this setting, so they can become better doctors and stuff. And I had to be the doctor, so I was just voicing this doctor, this character in this virtual reality thing, and it was fascinating. And there's going to be so much VR work coming up where people will be either being in it in person as actors, or voicing it, as 3D animation, and and characters. It might be animated, but it still looks super real. And it's great because no matter how technical and advanced that gets, robots are never truly going to be able to emulate real human emotion in terms of the way they say words or little inflections up and down on words to make it sound natural. So we're always going to be needed for that. And there's going to be more and more work available, I think. So that's going to be fascinating how that kind of ends up. So I was doing that today. If you want to see a little bit more behind the scenes of that, or you just want to see my day and what it was like, make sure you follow me on Instagram, at ActOnThisTV on Instagram. It's still, guys, I'm so bullish on it. It's still going to be the place to be seen. I promise you, don't just focus on Twitter now. You should absolutely be on Instagram and building an audience on there, because there's so much attention on there. If you're an actor and you want to get short videos out, or comedy sketches, or just ultimately any kind of attention on your material, photographs, that kind of stuff, show reels, get yourself on Instagram. If you're not, you're hugely missing out. And in a couple of years, you're going to kick yourself when everyone's attention is over there. So do that. Follow Act on This TV, and I'll follow you back. Absolutely. So on that, I'm going to go, guys. Thank you so much. If you've been watching on the replay, hugely appreciate you. If you've been listening on the audio experience, massively appreciate you for getting this far. If you want to watch the replay, go to actsonthis.tv. For those who are live now, the replay is going to be up on the Facebook group and on actsonthis.tv tomorrow. If you want to have a look. Bro Laura says, awesome. Thanks for being here. Cheers, Steve. Thanks for being here. Thank you and good night, says Caroline. You kind, generous man. She says, appreciate it, Caroline. Thank you. You're all generous. You guys are all super generous for giving me your time all this time. So massively appreciate that. Right. So this is when I have to kind of like try and end the stream on both Facebook and Periscope. I never know what to do. Could you send the link? Jenna says. What link do you want, Jenna? As in the link to the replay or to something else? Have I missed a comment? Because if you want the link to the replay of this, well, I mean, you can watch it straight away on Twitter. If you go to the Acts on This Twitter account. Oh, for the list of podcasts. Yeah, I will put it in the Facebook group. You're part of the Facebook group, aren't you? Facebook.com/groups/Acts on This TV. All you need to do to get all the podcasts, so all the audio of these broadcasts, is just open iTunes up, the iTunes store, and just search for Acts on This TV, all one word. Or if you don't have an iPhone, you're not on Apple, go to Stitcher.com, 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 and you can type Act on This TV, again, all one word, and you can subscribe on there. It's all free. I'll make sure to follow you, it says Laura. Awesome. I will follow you back, definitely. But yeah, subscribe, definitely. You'll get loads of benefit from it in terms of the audio. If you miss one of these and you're like, you know what? I've got a car journey, or I'm going out walking, I just want someone to keep me company and I want to learn something. I do it all the time with podcasts. It's super valuable. Get yourself subscribed, completely free. And I'm going to be putting out exclusive audio as well that won't be anywhere else. And if you like the videos, Jenna says you like the videos. If you go to actonthis.tv, the main website, you'll see every replay. This is episode 191, guys, which is crazy. 191 Periscopes we've done. But you'll see every replay on actonthis.tv. I also post them in the Facebook group. This one's going out on the Facebook page tonight. So there's plenty of opportunity to catch up on stuff that you miss. Just check it out. But with that, I'm gonna love you and leave you guys. I'm gonna try and end this on Facebook, but I never know how to bloody do this without it all going a bit pear-shaped. But appreciate you. That's what I mean. You can only see the most recent. So you can see everything on actonthis.tv, Jenna. Is there going to be a 200th episode extravaganza? There is, Alex, definitely. Laura says you've been missing out. Yeah, nearly 200. Nearly 200, Steve. Actonthis.tv, every episode is on there. If you click onto the menu in the top left-hand corner, Jenna, top left-hand corner, it'll open up and it'll slide out. In fact, I wonder if... Oh, no, I've got no web browser open. I can't share it with you tonight on live here. But if you, click the three buttons, top left-hand corner, a menu will slide out. And you'll see the categories for everything on the site. So you'll see the Act on This TV episodes, which are the video interviews I do. You'll see the podcast. You'll see the live video broadcasts, which are like interviews I do live. And then you'll see a section that says Periscope Replays. Click on Periscope Replays, and you'll find all 191. Literally every single one. Go back and watch episode 1. Because it wasn't like this. It was done from my phone back in the day. I did Periscopes just from my phone. The quality was as poor, but the content was still good. But that's what I mean about taking action. Don't wait till things are perfect, guys. There's so much more polished these today. Back in the day, 200 episodes nearly ago, they were just so basic. It's untrue. So go check it out. That's funny. Hello, man. I'm from Serbia, says Nev. Just say hi to Novak Djokovic and my people. Love the UK. Excellent. Love it. And Laura says, got to start somewhere. Yeah, absolutely. Just start. The whole philosophy we looked at tonight, just do it. Do it and do the thing and you will have the power. So true, guys. Honestly, just start taking action in your life, and you're going to start seeing huge results. Way more success than you've ever had if you're not currently taking action. So with that, like I say, yeah, I'm going to go. I said I'm going to go for about 12 times, but appreciate you. I'm going to be back next Monday for Motivation and Mind Hacks, 9 p.m. UK time, again on periscope.tv/actonthisTV, in the Facebook group as well, and on the Facebook page. I'll be broadcasting there as well. We'll do this dual scope thing for quite a while. Appreciate everyone on Facebook for watching as well. I'm sorry if I've not picked up on comments on Facebook tonight. I will be more attentive next time, I assure you. And just thank you. If I can do anything for you, drop me an email, ross@actonthis.tv. But until Monday, have an amazing week. Enjoy the weather in the UK. It's going to be fantastic over the weekend. I'll catch you with you guys soon, all right? Bye for now.